What is up, everybody? How is it going? Welcome to the new year. Excited to have the show. There's so much to talk about this week, and I'm excited to get into it, especially when it comes to DC news. So much going on, but we got potentially DC keeping Ezra Miller around. We have a pregnant Joker. We got all kinds of stuff. Star Wars being accused of whitewashing the Bad Batch. Dave Bautista news, and then a couple trailers that I wanted to check out that I saw that I kind of want to get your all thoughts because I'm a little torn on at least one of them. But I'm excited to get into it. I hope everybody had a happy new year. I hope everyone stayed safe and had fun, did some good things. I am, just so you all know, back-to-back Monopoly champion with the family, so I'm excited about that. I hold the championship, and I intend to win next year. So let's see. We got Scott here. How's it going, Scott, man? Hope you're doing well. Got Cajun Corey, my friend. Hope you're doing as well, too. David, what's up, man? Glad you could make it, my friend. Glad you're hanging out with us. And like I said, we've got a lot of DC stuff, especially to talk about. The main thing, I had a couple people, because I released a video earlier on this, I had a couple people telling me that James Gunn has debunked this information with Ezra Miller. That's right. Execute order shills. Apparently, the rumor is, and I have an article that we'll talk about, that they're possibly going to keep him around, even though they've sent Henry Cavill packing, said, hey, he's got to go. Well, unfortunately, it looks like Ezra Miller is potentially still going to be staying around. So, which I find crazy, considering he's literally a criminal. But hey, this is Hollywood, right? Criminals tend to advance the ladder by just default, I guess. And if you're a fan of source material, well, we got to send you packing down the road. So, but hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's had a good start of the year, good week. And let's hop into the first article that I want to talk about. Like I said, the main thing, I think one of the most important things that I think of so far this week that I've heard is just the DC stuff. Because like I said, as I think most of you know, I was very excited to hear the James Gunn taking over with DC, and I'm just so burnt out with where Marvel is right now. I think a lot of us are, right? We just want some type of alternative. And I think a lot of people, including myself, were hoping that we were going to get a decent and really good alternative with James Gunn. And then we hear these types of things, right? We hear rumor mills of, well, not a rumor. They completely get rid of Henry Cavill, which is an atrocity in itself. I think, again, as fractured as the DC fan base is, everyone can pretty much agree that Henry Cavill makes an amazing Superman. There's no doubt about it. All you got to do is change around a little bit, maybe the storyline, direct him the way that it should be, and do a Superman movie properly, and you're going to have a massive hit there. But no, we send him packing. We also hear that potentially the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman project is still intact. That, again, doesn't shock me one bit, honestly, anymore with how DC handles things, because these people do not know what they're doing. And then we hear this. I know my understanding, too, is I can't say her name on here, because every time I've said her name on a YouTube video, it's gotten hit with stuff. But old Amber H is still supposed to be appearing in Aquaman, even though I think her role is slightly reduced, but she's still going to be there. Mind-boggling to me. All criminals, mind you. But let's pull up this first article so I can get into this, and I can show you where I am seeing this stuff from. Because I did have some people dispute this with me and say this is not true, but I haven't seen anything to counter this. But let me see what a couple other people are saying in the chat. We got Bobby here, my friend. Hope you're doing well. And yes, he is facing felony burglary as of right now, Ezra Miller. He's facing all kinds of charges. He's been arrested for battery multiple times. And that is right, David. Amblert turd is the exact reference, the best way to reference it. And Corey, yes, Miller is part of the protected community, so he has immunity. There you go. Yes, they, them. Execute order shill. So basically, DC is somehow worse than before. It seems to be that way. And I don't really know why, but so the start of this article starts off with kind of a breakdown of how Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson essentially kind of ruined things. Because he's advocated so much for Henry Cavill, and he tried to kind of strong arm his way into DC. When they were promoting Black Adam, which was PG-13, it says in the article that he was really trying to get his tequila at the showing, right? Which, again, was a PG-13 movie, so they didn't really want to do that. He really pushed for executive producer in the Wonder Pets movie. I think, right? It was that superhero Pets movie. But I didn't see. I don't know. Did anybody see that movie here? Probably not. I don't think it did very well. But he was just not doing things the way that they enjoyed it. What's up, Shake and Bacon? Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. Glad you're here. But yeah, so apparently because he tried to strong arm his way into things, and this was still with the old regime, they weren't really happy about it. And I think that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, especially because he was advocating so hard for Henry Cavill to come back. Now, I think Henry Cavill got caught up in the crossfire, but regardless, the key point of this article that really stood out to me and kind of caught a lot of people's attention is what they're saying about the reboot, because what we've been told is it's a clean slate. They're starting over, right? We got Gal Gadot going out the window. She's potentially gone. We got Aquaman. Momoa is going to be potentially recasted as Lobo, maybe. Shazam, everything was just pretty much on the unknown, and everyone's saying it's a clean slate, because they want to break away from the Snyderverse. They want to do away with it. They want to clean. They don't want anything to touch that. They don't want it. They just want everything completely clean. So this is what the article says, which has really sparked a lot of people's attention. As for what else Gunn and Safran have planned for DC's future, sources describe it as a broad but not blanket reset. At this point, nothing is ruled out, given that Miller has stayed out of trouble since beginning mental health treatment in the summer. Some executives are amenable to continuing with the actor as the world-saving speedster. Aquaman, Shazam, Blue Beetle, and Gunn's Peacemaker series for HBO Max all could have a place at the table. Gunn and Safran, who were recommended by DeLuca, have the full backing of the WBD top ranks. So right there, right, we know they've scratched Batgirl, because we'll talk about Batgirl here shortly, because we saw a glimpse of what that costume looked like, and dear God, an 8-year-old at home could have made something better than that. That was absolute atrocity. And then we've seen some leaked footage too, which I don't know. They're only proving the point that DC actually made a good decision. But getting back to this stuff, it doesn't make sense to me, because all of these things, Shazam, Peacemaker, that whole series is tied into Snyder's Justice League. And the fact that now they're going to pick and choose, especially, again, someone like Miller. Now, the rumor has it, a lot of the people who have seen test screenings saying that the Flash movie is going to be amazing. Like, they're saying this movie is going to just kill it at the box office. And that's why I think they're potentially talking about keeping Ezra Miller on board. Now, what people are saying that James Gunn supposedly debunked this is because he had made a comment on Twitter about he's like, I don't know what's out there about, I don't have the exact tweet or where it came from, but apparently he said somewhere that, and I think it was on Twitter, so I apologize, but just from things that I've been researching, he said, I don't know what's out there about Ezra Miller, but my plan is for 8 to 10 years. So maybe Ezra Miller is not technically in James Gunn's plans, but they're talking about having the multiverse where they're going to do different things. Because I know they're talking about the Batman is essentially not going to be a part of James Gunn's universe. So they're going to have another Batman. So it's all over the place. And that just gets completely messy from especially a normie's perspective, right? Having 2 Batmans running around, multiple Supermans, they're not going to know what's going on. So not the most ideal thing, but the fact that they're even considering keeping Ezra Miller in general, no matter what facet they keep him in any way, shape, or form, is a slap in the face to pretty much all the fans. Just, it's completely disgusting. It's a slap in the face to Henry Cavill, and I don't know what to really think of it. But let me get some of the comments here. We got David. Ezra can abuse women, threaten people, and mess around with minors, but because he's conveniently changed his pronouns, gets the pass. Well, of course, right? Again, there's that protected class of people in Hollywood that helps with the company's ESG scores. If you don't know what that is, look that up. And I think that's where really what this boils down to. is think of the backlash that the company would get if they fired somebody in that category. You would have the Twitter outrage and the Twitter mob losing their mind. And we all know these companies bend the knee to the Twitter mob, which we'll talk about Star Wars here shortly, because that's what happened. And again, these people are going to, they're protected, and they're just going to keep rising in Hollywood until eventually, I guess, they just lose money and they go bankrupt, which I think Warner Brothers is pretty close to doing. And again, that's what I didn't really understand, having a 10-year plan when, you just got to focus on that first movie. That first movie's key, because right now you guys are pretty much in negatives. Bobby says Super Pets was okay. Nothing that blew my mind, though. Yeah, I had no desire to see it. It's just something that wasn't for me, so I decided to pass that. Also, not surprised that, I'm not going to say that word, but I know what you mean. I've seen his jokes and whatnot, so they did say on, what was it, Peacemaker, they made like 7 minutes worth of like those types of jokes or sexualized jokes with Fish and Aquaman for like 16 minutes, and they cut it out of Peacemaker. Very strange. They're very weird people. But that, again, it's not really surprising. This is Hollywood. So, but yes, Bobby, I am looking forward to Henry Cavill's Warhammer. I haven't had a lot of time to do the research into Warhammer's history and what it's about, so, and kind of the lore of it yet. But a lot of you all here, or if you're watching this on the playback, a lot of people in the comments did kind of leave me some channels to refer to watch that, and I have written those down, so I am going to be looking into those and learning about it, because I don't want to go in completely blind. I want to make sure that they try to stay as true to the source material and see if they live up to that. So I am excited about it. Yeah. Your boy Mirage, hope you're doing well, my friend. The possibility of Ezra Weirder being Flash the next few years while Cavill will never be Superman is baffling to me. I think a lot of people agree. That was one thing I said in my video, that there are two things that the fan base can pretty much agree on: Henry Cavill being Superman and Ezra Miller being out. I think pretty much there's no split decision there. Everyone can safely say that they're okay with those decisions. And yet here we are talking about this. And again, this may not be a James Gunn decision. This may not be in his 10-year plan, but my understanding of what they're talking about and bouncing around the idea is that some of these things won't live in his universe, won't be a part of his 8 to 10-year plan. Like, for instance, Reeves is Batman. So if they're doing that, there's possibilities of the multiverse and them doing all kinds of things. I just think that gets really convoluted and messy, in my personal opinion, but I don't know. Let's see. David says, isn't Gunn doing a 3-year plan right now? He keeps stating it's an 8 to 10-year plan is what he's slating out overall. And he's only releasing some of that information this month, later this month. So that was the last thing that I did see. So I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, Corey, it's a 8 to 10-year plan is what they're scoping out. And again, doesn't really make a lot of sense, because I think they should focus on the first movie and what's coming out versus that other stuff. But hey, you want to do a big long plan, that's fine. I think that's the problem with Marvel right now, is they have all these plans, and then when something goes awry, it takes so long for them to correct the ship. They've already hit about 10 other icebergs before they could fix it. So Scott says Miller should have been like, oh, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of these should have been let go a long time ago. And that was what I was hoping with proper management, and what I thought was proper management in place, that we would have these corrections. But hey, here we are. I don't think anyone in Hollywood really knows what they're doing anymore, or ever, for that matter. David says, yeah, normies really don't understand this stuff. When I went to see the Batman with my girlfriend, she was whispering me, asked me, when will Spider-Man show up? Yeah, I mean, there's some people that they're just casuals, right? I mean, that they don't really understand a lot of the details. And like, you have normies, then you have like normies, right? That don't even try to get into the comic books. They just know what they see on TV, and that's that. And then you see 2 different Batmans running around, and you're like, well, I thought the other guy was Batman. What's going on? And you just don't know. So Mirage says, this Batman stuff is intriguing, but very confusing. A new DCU Batman for the DCU. No more Batfleck, even though Batfleck is supposedly in Aquaman 2, and no more Keaton. Yeah, I think my understanding, and from what I heard, I may be wrong, so don't hold me to this. I think Keaton is still potentially going to be showing up in The Flash. And I think Batfleck might show up in The Flash as well, but I don't know. Everything's been so tossed around and there's rumor mills. I don't even know what's right and what's wrong anymore. So I have no idea, but I know my understanding Superman, Henry Cavill, was removed from the Flash's movie, and I think they're talking about Ben Affleck like potentially directing something in the future. So I don't know. I am looking forward to seeing Sasha Calle as Supergirl, if you know what yeah. Is she even going to be Supergirl? I don't know. I thought that was scratched too, so I have no idea. I have no clue. Corey says, I don't know anything about Warhammer, but if I need to know how accurate the show movie is going to be, I'll listen to him. Yeah, he's a great source for that. I know Max Von Priestley. Guys, if you don't know Max's channel, I recommend you checking it out. Look him up. He's on Twitter too for now. But I definitely recommend his channel. The guy's also a wizard at comic book knowledge, and he's really into Warhammer. So he's going to be one of my go-to guys for Warhammer knowledge, besides the other channels that I've been recommended for the lore stuff. So I am excited about it. No more multiverse garbage. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Scott says, yeah, multiple Superman, Batmans. Why do they think this is a good idea? I think they're just trying to squeeze the sponge of money as much as possible. I understand if they're going to do like the Val Zod Superman and they want like a black Superman and a white and Kal-El white Superman. Fine. I don't have a really problem with that. It's going to be confusing for people again, because they don't understand why would there be two, but I guess if they explain it right, I don't know. I have no idea. And again, it's also who's involved in charge of it. Ta-Nehisi Coates is one of like a horrible human being. And the fact that Superman and his story is still going to be moving forward, yet you tell Cavill, sorry, Charlie, pack your stuff. You got to go. It's just complete. It's just spitting in the face of everybody. Gunn will probably save the rest of his upcoming slated projects until Comic-Con 2023. I'm going to still be cautious on the DCU, but I'll give it a chance. At this point, yeah, we just got to see what they do, right? They got to put their money where their mouth is and see what's going to happen. Apparently, some of the slated information is going to be coming out this month. Probably nothing too crazy. And again, remember, a lot of this stuff isn't going to actually be coming out until 2024, because the James Gunn stuff is slated to come out after Joker 2, which again is going to be a musical. Not excited. Personally, not excited about that, but we'll see how that goes. But that is slated early 2024, and then Gunn stuff is going to be after that. So we got a whole year of speculation and hearing just what's coming and more rumors. So who the hell knows? It's going to be a mess. Mirage says, well, now that that's the case, I'm even more confused. Yeah, again, I don't know. No clue. It's all over the place. The rumors are flying, so we need Power Girl instead of Supergirl. I agree. I would much rather have a little bit more, I guess, not mainstream superheroes and supervillains than what's out there. But let's see. Yeah, Cajun, I did see Max's. He does have a couple build streams. I saw that too. I was watching one day. So, because I've done like car model kits before and kits like tanks and stuff, but I've never got into like figures. So when I was watching, it was interesting to see the differences of the two. But yeah, I've never gotten into that stuff, but it looks interesting for sure. Let's see. DC is a dumpster fire. Absolutely. That's the thing right now. Not even just DC. You got DC, Marvel, Star Wars, every single massive IP that we all just want good stuff. They're all dumpster fires. They're like all throwing as much garbage as they can out there to see what sticks. And it's just, I feel worn out from it all. I don't know about you guys, but it's just tiresome at this point. Like there's so much crap always coming. I'm just like, I don't even want it right now, but I don't know. Live action Power Girl would surely be intriguing. Philip Hawkins, my friend, hope you're doing well, sir. Disney Star Wars really making a new movie based on the sequels. That should be a trash fire. That is the rumor. That is what I heard. A couple other Star Wars rumors going on too, but yeah, we're gonna get to Star Wars here shortly because they got a lot of interesting stuff. So yeah, that was my main thing on at least the DC stuff. Like I said, this article, if you guys have a chance, I would check it out. It goes into a lot of just how Dwayne The Rock Johnson just tried to strong arm and use his stature and kind of action star power. Because like I said, that's kind of a thing of the past. You don't really see that anymore. And he tried to use that to bully his way, in a sense, to get what he wanted out of DC. And they essentially shut him down. So, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see. A little upsetting that Ezra Miller might be sticking around. Again, I'm going to leave everything. It's not 100% sure, but that's what they're saying. This is the rumor, is that the corporate people behind it are all in favor for it. And those are the ones that, those are the ones that okay everything. Those are the ones that check the boxes and give the approval. So I don't know, but we will have to wait and see. So let me pull up this next article here. This one's going to be a quick one. I guess while we're on DC, we might as well just stay at DC. I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm sure most of you have. It's hilarious. It's not even, it's funny, because if you don't laugh at this stuff, then you just lose your mind, right? You just get mad, and then there's no sense in getting mad about this. But apparently, as you all saw, whether you saw it from my video or anyone else's video, but Batman fans react to and debate DC's pregnant Joker story. Yes, that's right. If you're not aware, DC came out with a comic, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, #4, featuring a pregnant clown prince of crime. So they go into the article here, kind of explains how this happened. I can give you a quick rundown, but it says the story opens with Joker declaring that Zatanna and he would make a great couple while she magically holds him upside down. When Joker begins talking about what he hopes their kids would look like together, Zatanna pushes his face into a puddle of mud and casts a spell, declaring that nobody else will ever have his baby. Joker awakens the next day to miraculously see that he has somehow become pregnant. Dr. Phosphorus happens to be an OBGYN, tries to help the Joker deliver the baby. However, Joker instead winds up vomiting a large pile of mud that quickly becomes sentient. The mud begins to transform into a smaller version of the Clown Prince of Crime, who Joker then declares is so handsome. So that is the state of current comics. So, as probably most of you do, if you do collect comics, collect the old stuff. Don't even waste your time with new stuff. One cool thing I'll show you guys. Well, let me close this out because I don't need to keep this tab up anymore. I don't need to see another pregnant Joker anymore. But just hilarious at this point that this is even a thing. But if you want good comics, so I got this for Christmas. Thought this was pretty cool. If you're a Punisher fan, Punisher versus the Marvel Universe, really good story, and it's somewhat newer story, but then they got some old stories in here too. So cool. I definitely recommend you checking out, but collect old comics, collect old stuff. Don't collect new stuff. The new stuff is absolutely atrocious. Let's see. Oh, here we are. Execute orders. Yeah, is that comic actually supposed to be canon or something? It's not inside their inside canon. It's like its own thing, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but still, regardless, it doesn't matter. It still exists, and that's the sad part. Let's see, Scott. I'm not sure. I want to know how that happened. Yeah, there you go. When I first heard this, one of the I don't have it in the picture for that, but one of the pictures in there, the Joker was actually asking, like, where's the baby gonna come from? And the doctor's like, I don't know, but start pushing this. It's so bad that it's just worth laughing at. Like Ripa said, DC stands for Dead Company. Yeah, I mean, why would anyone think that that's a good idea, right? Philip Hawkins, Joker pregnant is just pushing gender identity garbage. Exactly. It's all identity politics stuff, right? It's all that agenda nonsense that they push. That if you even question, if you say anything bad about, they label you an istophobe, a Yahtzee, all that nonsense, right? It's the same thing they do over and over. And it's because activists have taken over all these companies, Marvel, DC, Star Wars. Every IP that we love has been taken over by these lunatics because it's just the way it is. And they're the loudest, and they get heard, apparently, and they fail upwards. So here we are with a Joker, I could tell you this. 20 years ago, if someone said there would be a comic about a pregnant Joker, I would have been like, you're out of your mind. But 2023, apparently nothing's impossible. So Mirage says, bro, I've heard a lot of recent climate of DC Comics, and my God, it's hilarious. Yeah, it's only going to get worse, too. Eventually, it's got to go under. I would imagine it completely fails, and just DC Comics will be dead and gone. As Corey just says, 15 years ago, this would have been kind of funny, but today they pushed that in politics, so I don't see it as funny. Yeah, I know what it is, and I think most of us normal people do, and I can't imagine how many books these people sell to where it's even influencing anybody. Not anyone of viability, at least. So, yeah, it's funny only because in the sense these people just are embarrassing to themselves. The company's embarrassing itself. It's killing its own The legacy's dead. It's not killing it. The legacy of DC and everything is dead, and it's sad because they've killed off, some great characters that we've loved and the company that we've loved our whole lives, and now it's just disrespectful and it's disgusting. So. Let's see. Mirage says, pregnant Joker must fight Batman for free healthcare. Don't give him ideas. 2028, Warner Bros. Will finally realize that headlines from CBR doesn't equal sales. Yes. CBR is an absolute joke. Sorry, it just jumped on me here. I got Isom as my only comic I have and paid for. Isom's great. I'm excited for part 2. Young Ripper did a really good job. I think he announced the other day the second book's going to be around 100 something pages. So that's a big book. I'm excited. I will say this. The most recent thing out of DC that I have that was actually really good, as I spill my water everywhere, Batman 89. I just got this too, and I started digging into it. It's not bad. It's pretty good. Nothing, no nonsense. And this, I think, is last year, maybe a little bit before then. Not very long ago, but I've enjoyed it so far. I started digging into it. I didn't get too crazy into it, but it's cool. It's like picking up right after Batman Returns. So I recommend that if you really like Batman stories. That's pretty good so far. The further I read into it, I'll let you guys know on more streams. But Execute says, just like Obi-Wan being gay, just woke garbage propaganda. Yep, we've seen that multiple times. They're gonna just destroy everything. And that's why, guys like Ripa that are out there creating new stuff, that's why you have to support the independent creators, because as much as it sucks, we can enjoy the old stuff. And that's what I recommend the most is, finding the old stories. But, the new stuff, we just it's all dead. Just got to give it up and walk away from it. So that's why, if it's at antique malls, eBay, stuff like that, I don't buy anything new because it's all pretty much trash. David says, been doing so much research about political stuff that I didn't even know about some of this stuff or completely forgot. Yeah, and all I would say is, I don't talk about too much political stuff on here just because I treat YouTube, and we could talk about the escape from the political things. But if you follow me on Twitter, I'm involved in that stuff as well, and I have my opinion. But just be careful, because you got to get away from it for a little bit. You got to break away, because it'll drive you crazy if you don't. So I try to, escape a little bit, then I'll get back into it, pay attention to the stupidity going on, then break away from it again. So Mirage says, I'm going to put gay Obi-Wan in the non-canon category along with the sequel trilogy. Yeah. Now you never know. It might be canon at some point when they redo the original trilogy, because I'm sure they're going to. Let's see, book 2, 121. I think. Yeah, I knew it was something like that, but I'm excited for it. So, David says, honestly, Matt, when you have 30 different Batman books a month, you're bound to hit the dot every once in a while. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, if you throw enough darts at the dartboard, you'll make it. You'll hit your target. Black Angus, my friend, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. My Twitter is a cesspool. Thanks for researching about. Oh, yeah. Well, you die. You start. That's where you start looking for trouble at that point, David. Let's see. So there's one more thing I want to show you that I thought was hilarious. I know probably most of you have seen the horrible just cosplay costume of Batgirl. I don't think I need to re-show that to you guys. I'm sure you've seen it. But they've been leaking all kinds of stuff, and it just looks atrocious. How people defend this still, I don't know. But I want to show you this really quick because I thought it was hilarious. I don't think I'll get like struck or copyright or anything, but we're going to find out. I don't think I will. But this is from a Twitter user that I saw a video, and it's hilarious. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Okay, that's a little bit bigger. Hopefully you guys can see this. But it says, no wonder they scrapped the Batgirl movie. This shit looks scuffed as hell. So this is a scene of her running down the street. So we'll watch this real quick. It's freaking hilarious. And look at this girl's face. She's like, yeah, that was garbage. Like, she clearly knows that this was just an atrocity. This movie, listen, DC makes some terrible decisions, right? We see it time and time again, but this is the only decision that I think they did a good job. I mean, think about this. This entire movie was filmed and done, and they just said, nah, we're going to throw it away. We're just going to, let's just cut our losses, take it as a tax write-off, and be done with it. That's got to be bad. It's got to be terrible. Oh, let's see. Yeah, Black Angus. That looks, I mean, cosplay. I've seen cosplayers better. The disgusting purple, so bad. I mean, and I understand that they're trying to pull right from New 52 Batgirl, had that look, the old 60s purple throwback. I get that. But just because it exists sometimes doesn't mean that it's going to carry over correctly. You can tweak things and make it better. So, I don't know. Scott says it looked like a costume someone would wear to Comic-Con or something. I've seen, Scott, look up cosplays for Batgirls, and you'll see way better. Like the quality, everything. Pretty crazy. Mirage says, that's me running to the nearest Starbucks before it closed. Oh, man. Let's see. A 2-year-old would have brains to cancel that. Don't commend them, Matt. Yeah, that's true. But honestly, we know they're not very smart people. So I guess, yeah, if you're wrong, eventually you're going to be right. But I try to give them credit where credit's due. At least they knew, they were smart enough to realize, like, hey, that's got to go. Like, we can't do that. But all right, let's get into this next topic here because this is pretty interesting. I'm going to save the Star Wars ones. So I want to touch on this real quick because I thought it was really interesting that Dave Bautista had announced this. So if you don't know, this can't be a spoiler. And I don't think it's a spoiler, but Dave Bautista has announced that he will not be returning as Drax, and he's really happy about it. Now, again, I'm guessing. I haven't read anything. I don't know, but I would assume that if Dave Bautista is not returning, then he's probably not. Drax isn't going to make it through the movie. Spoiler. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I'm just speculating myself. If I had to put money on it, I would say, yeah, Drax is probably not going to make it. I might be wrong. He might go and live off with, I don't know. Who knows? Because you never know with movies. But I would just say that if they're going to kill anyone off in that movie, it's probably now Drax. But let me show you this article because I thought it was really interesting, just the things that he said. I did a video on it a little bit earlier, but I know I did it like right before the stream. So, and I know people don't get alerts. Like, I know people that say that they don't get their alerts till like 3 days later. So I don't count anything out because it's YouTube. But Dave Bautista says he is looking. Let me close this real quick. He is looking for more dramatic roles after Guardians. I just don't know if I want Drax to be my legacy. Now, it's really, like I said, it was really telling the stuff that he's saying here, that basically the superhero movies and stuff, they're looked down upon within the industry. And that's kind of been hinted at for a while, right? You had Scorsese saying things like these superhero movies are more of a roller coaster ride versus like actual cinema, which I don't disagree with. I mean, I don't think, and if you guys disagree in the chat, that's okay. But let me know in the chat, can you take any superhero movie that you could think of and put it up to, say, like a Jaws or a Godfather or something that's like considered an actual masterpiece, not a Twitter weirdo masterpiece, and say they're comparable? I can't really think of any superhero movie that's that close. I mean, maybe Logan, but I don't even think that's close. But I just think of all the movies with range and everything, like Logan would probably be one of the better ones. But I don't know. But I understand what he's trying to say here. So he says here, quote, "I'm so grateful for Drax. I love him," the actor said, "but there's a relief that it's over. It wasn't all pleasant. It was hard playing that role. The makeup process was beating me down, and I just don't know if I want Drax to be my legacy. It's a silly performance, and I want to do more dramatic stuff." And that's a pretty good point. So let's see. Before I skip here, Bobby says, probably the only one that survives, and he's not coming back. Yeah, that could be true. I wouldn't put it past him. This isn't a spoiler, but in one shot of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Drax has a chest wound and is carried by Gamora and Star-Lord. Yeah, I that's what I thought. I'm pretty sure that's who that was, and you could see them yelling, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Dark Knight. I could see that one being up there because take the Dark Knight, for example, and compare that to any MCU movie. And I don't even think Scorsese was referring to like the Dark Knight as one of those movies when he made that comment. He could have. Who knows? Yeah, see, Scott says same thing, like maybe the Dark Knight. David says Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Logan are the ones I'd choose. Winter Soldier, I don't know about that one, but Logan, yeah. And yeah, Dark Knight, you guys bring that up. I can definitely see that. But other than those, Captain America, Winter Soldier, maybe. But I mean, they're even the Dark Knight and Logan are not touching Goodfellas. They're not touching Jaws. They're not touching The Godfather. These are movies that are on its own level, own tier. Like, that's real cinema, right? I mean, I think we can all agree on that. So I understand that he doesn't want to do this type of stuff anymore, but what does that tell you about the industry and the actors? So we've seen just recently with Thor, what Helmsworth was saying, like, if I come back and do Thor, I want a serious Thor. I don't want to be a fat clown anymore, right? Like these people are starting to get tired of the trope of the kind of disrespect that, like, hey, if I'm going to hang my career out, I don't want to be known just as Thor and then look at what my legacy turns into. So some other things that he says down here, which really stand out and are telling, was at the very end when he says, those are the kind of moments that Bautista says he's looking for more of. I never wanted to be the next Rock, he explained. I just want to be a good fucking actor, a respected actor. Honestly, I couldn't give I'm just going to say it, guys. It's live, so I couldn't give a fuck about being a movie star. I don't live a great, big, glamorous life. I live here in Tampa. I don't care about the spotlight. I don't care about fame. I just want to be an actor. I want respect from my peers. I don't need accolades. I really don't. It's about the experience, about knowing that I accomplished something. So by him saying these comments, clearly he doesn't feel like he has that respect right now. And he's known, if you were to talk about Dave Bautista's, besides wrestling, he is known for Guardians of the Galaxy. So now that he's established himself as an actor in Hollywood, he wants to branch out and do more. And I like the Blade movie, like, is it 20? What was that movie? The newest Blade, like 24. I don't think it was 2049, but it was something like that. Sorry, I've only seen it once. It was good. He did a really good job in that. That beginning scene when he was there, that was very deep and like surprising that he was able to pull off that serious tone. Like, I did not expect him to be in it. So it surprised me, and he did a good job. Even Glass Onion, which kind of hurts his argument here because I didn't like Glass Onion, really. But his performance there, even though his character was kind of goofy and wacky, there were some serious parts in that movie when the character was like in reality. Like he wasn't portraying this persona, right? And he did that well. So he does have the range, and he does have complicated, or he can go into in-depth stuff as just being the funny, dopey sidekick. And I remember there was a couple tweets that he had put out a long time ago about how he felt Marvel kind of disrespected him and just kind of the character and Drax. Like he wanted a Drax spin-off movie, kind of like a origin story, kind of showing the loss of the wife and child and how that would have been awesome to see. Like, because you still could have kept Drax as funny, but give him that serious side. Let's see what happened, right? How Thanos was involved. That would be cool. I mean, if you guys disagree with me, let me know. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was, I would think that's a great idea. And then you could really give him more serious side, and we can learn more about Drax. But they decided not to. So let's see. Blade Runner 2045 is Bobby knows freaking ever. Bobby, you are literally a book of knowledge, my friend. He was in Spectre too, right? I don't know. I didn't see Spectra. Is that how you say it? But I haven't seen that. I haven't seen a Bond movie in freaking forever. But I don't know if he was in that. I don't remember. Mirage says, I feel like Drax was wasted in the MCU since him and Thanos have a rivalry that is shown. Drax taking on Thanos in Endgame would have been nice. Yeah, right? I felt like that was complete. No, but you know what they decided to do, Mirage? They decided to do that ultimate girl power cringe that completely ruined Endgame for me. The whole let's be overpowering Whammon and take on Thanos. No, that would have been a great idea, though. Seeing him kind of get some type of redemption, that would have been awesome. But, hey, who are we? We're just fans that paid to see this stuff. Yeah, Drax origin movie would have been fire. Absolutely. I would love to see his origin, see him with his family, see him go through that turmoil, see him get that rage and rage out and be what Drax is known to be. But no, why would we do that? And yeah, guys, if you're here, smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps the video and the live stream and all that fun stuff because YouTube is asshole. So I appreciate it. Let's see. Execute Shills. That was so cringe. That's why I think Infinity War is the way superior movie. Endgame was good, but then with what they did with Thor and the cringy, so bad. So bad. Corey says he played a villain and only said one line when his character died, and it was, oh shit. Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. Mirage says, I also feel like Nebula shouldn't have got the Infinity Gauntlet in Infinity War, just like in the comics where she takes the gauntlet from Thanos like Tony did. Would have been awesome. I agree. I wish they stuck way more, way true more to the source material. Way true more. I'm an idiot. I can't talk. I apologize. But if they stuck further to the source material, because what I like to do is, because again, I'm not the biggest comic book guy with some of this stuff. So I like to learn about it because I know you can't obviously take everything off the page and bring it to the movies. So some of this stuff I don't know. And what I like to do is it's interesting to me now seeing it on screen, I want to go back and research it and read it, and I'll go buy the book but then you go back and you look into it and you're like, what? This is completely different. And it sucks. I don't like that. So I don't know. Let's see. Now that they're getting the X-Men in the MCU, hopefully the show Rogue taking Brie Larson's powers. Yeah, I know. That would be ideal if they do show Rogue doing that. But do you think they'll do that to Brie Larson? I don't know. She's also feel like she's in a protected class. Maybe because she has massive, giant, oversized woman feet. I don't know. Have you ever seen her feet? Look that up if you haven't. Her feet are like flippers. They're like 8 feet long. Like when you see her in high heels, her toes are like busting out of them. It's very gross. Like I don't like feet anyway, but That's so disgusting, man. Look it up. It's terrible. Same thing with Megan Fox's thumbs. If you've ever looked that up, Google Megan Fox's little hoof thumbs that she has. Dear God. It's the most disgusting thing you'll ever see on the internet. Let's see. David's maybe have Drax be a different person personality-wise, but the trauma of fighting Thanos and seeing his family slaughtered messed up his brain and emotions. Yeah, kind of like he wasn't that stupid always. He was a little bit normal, but then I guess like PTSD or whatever screwed him up, and now he's just very short, doesn't really talk that much. That would be perfect. That would be awesome. But again, why would they do that? Philip Hawkins says Infinity War was already pandering to China by dressing Captain America all in black and without the iconic shield. Yep. Yeah, well, they're going to... they're done. I feel like they're done pandering now, only because China doesn't even want to give them the time of day, for the most part, which is killing them. You see what's going on with Avatar. China has been deprived of MCU and Disney movies for, I feel like, a year now. And now they finally get one movie, and they're just killing it. I still don't get the hype for the Avatar 2, guys. If you all, or any gals that are around, have any of you seen that movie and like really enjoy it? I don't get the hype. I have no desire to see it at all. I hear a bunch of people loving it, but it's not for me. That could explain why he is how he is. Yep. Mirage says, interesting. I thought Cap looked like that to showcase him being Nomad and no longer being Cap after Civil War. That's an interesting point too, but it could be a mix of both. I wouldn't put it past him, but because he was kind of turned his back on everything. Yeah, I could see either way, but I could see them making that just because they wanted to pander as well. You never know. Again, I don't put anything past these companies because they're horrible people. No, I don't go out of my way to look at Brie Larson's speed. I don't go out of my way either, but I have seen them, and it's atrocious. She's a very interesting human. Yeah, I agree. The female apparent scene in Endgame didn't age well. No, I when I first saw it, I was literally disgusted. I was just like, really? This is it? Okay. And then when I heard people were like crying when they saw that, I was like, all right, well, whatever works for you. But all right. Let me see. What are my other topics I got? I'm going to save that for later. Let's move on to my favorite topic of all time. Because I feel like if I don't talk about this topic or this IP once a stream, it's not a stream. So, let's get into some Star Wars nonsense. Everyone's favorite sci-fi IP. Whoops. Let's see. Oh, I'm freezing here. Sorry, guys. I don't know if it froze for you, but it froze for me. The website that I share, this is from the Direct. It just eats at my stuff here and slows my computer down massively. It's so ad heavy, it's gross. But hey, they got to pay the bills, so I get it. But here we are, my friends. Star Wars changed the skin color of the clones after whitewashing backlash, confirms the director. Now, I remember this from the first time Bad Batch came out. So I'm going to preface this by saying I have not watched season 2 of Bad Batch. I watched a little bit of season 1. I think I got into 3 or 4 episodes, but it was clear as day to me that it was really the Omega show featuring the Bad Batch. That little annoying Australian sounding girl, nothing against Aussies, right? I have no problem with your accent, but goddamn, her voice disgusts me and annoys me. But it's just all about her, and I don't care. So it ruined the show for me. If it was actually about the Bad Batch and only them, I could probably watch it because I do like the animation stuff. But hey, here we are. And so apparently you had Twitter weirdos losing their minds because they said that the clones were being whitewashed in the show. And they actually show some examples here. So here's the first trailer. The top picture is... How much of a difference do you guys actually see? Because I don't see very much. Again, this is what happens when you bend the knee and you just appease the stupid people on Twitter. This is what happens. So Bad Batch airs. This is the first trailer, and then the final footage is the difference. And I don't even really see a difference. Barely. I mean, you're talking like a tint. So as you scroll down more, here again is the trailer where they're being quote unquote whitewashed at the top. And then this is the fixed and corrected skin tone. I mean, what are we talking about here? Does that I don't know. They still look white to me. I know they're not supposed to be, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't really see a difference, nor do I really care for that matter. I think it looks the same, and I don't really care because I know what the clones look like, and I know what the clones are based off of, so I don't really care about this issue. But let's get into what some of the director was saying. And again, because this is Star Wars, right? This is why the IPs turn into what they do, is because people that probably don't even watch the freaking show just see this and complain about something, because that's literally the business that they're in. They're just going to complain. And I don't like the direct, really. If you look, like, they're undeniably whiter than they were before, or any clone for that matter. By the time season 1 landed, the issue had been fixed behind the scenes as if it would never there in the first place. They're very, like, they try to make an issue out of something that's not. In a new interview with Collider, the Bad Batch director Brad Rue commented on the team's response to hashtag unwhitewash the Bad Batch movement from fans. And again, it's not from fans. It's from weirdos online that probably have pronouns in their Twitter bio or the Ukrainian flag and are just making nonsense just because they're bored at home and they have nothing else to do. Rao noted that they listened to the fans and made some corrections, as they also wanted to remain true to the legacy of the clones. We listened to all the concerns of the fans. Interestingly, in season 1, before season 1 came out, we were always doing this. We went back to look at the skin tones and we made some corrections to make sure that we're being true to the legacy of the clones in Clone Wars. Absolutely 100%. So now they start listening to the fans. What about the Star Wars sequel trilogy, right? Rian Johnson, remember all that, where they're bashing fans? They only listen to fans when it's something that they think that they can get behind, or they're fans, right? The lunatic woke weirdos. But normal fans, like when we were saying, hey, bring back Gina Carano. Oh no, we're not listening to you. We're not listening to you guys. But this show is absolutely... has anybody watched Bad Batch? Can tell me if it's actually good or not? If it's good, like, fine. I'm okay with it. But it got really annoying. So I have zero desire to watch this. And again, Omega, I can't listen to her voice because I would stick a screwdriver into my ear. Though the mistake may have been harmlessly made, there's no question that creatives need... Oh, here we go. See, this is why I don't like the direct. Need to be more aware of those situations. Preferably, something like that would be caught and corrected long before the wider audience gets a chance to call it out. These people... This is the stuff that I just want to smack them. It's also great for Morrison, as it keeps an endless amount of roles open for the Maorio, I don't know, actor to play. As long as Star Wars goes on, the Boba Fett performer will be set. Yeah. You know what? He should walk away. I know he said that he's been complaining about Boba Fett and whatnot, and he doesn't realize, like, they need him. Just walk away. It's not that hard. But, here we are. All right, let's get to the chat here. Execute order shills, woke left weirdos, not exactly. These people, these are activists. They don't care. They make either a living off of this or they have nothing to do at home and they just cry on Twitter all day. Corey says, miserable weirdos who want to ruin it for everyone else, who want everyone to be as miserable as them. Yep. Soul Assassin, what's going on, my friend? Isn't the Bad Batch a defective clone group? So lighter skin tone could... Exactly. That's a great point. Yeah, they're defective. So them not being the normal skin tone would make sense. And I think even one of them is supposed to be very pale anyway. Scott says, I've never heard a single Star Wars fan I know a lot complain about this before. Yeah, because we don't care about that stuff. Because I don't look at the Bad Batch and go, they're too light. They're too dark. Like, I don't care about skin color. I'm not looking for that. I know what clones look like. When I'm watching them on screen, I see Tamora Morrison's face, but in like 3D. I don't see some white dude. So, I don't know. Again, these people are nuts. I'm light-skinned, and do I care about the Bad Batch looking like me? No, I do not. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people try to see, what was it? I forgot. It was either an article or people on Twitter were arguing, of course, Twitter, an argument. They were arguing back and forth how, like, somebody who wasn't a person of color was arguing that a person of color cannot relate to the likes of Batman and Superman because they're white. And I'm like, you are just completely out of your mind. The fact that you even think that is just mind-boggling to me. Like, I can't relate to Blade. Why not? Because he's black? It's stupid. Scott watched it. It's decent, but not as good as Clone Wars. Yeah, I couldn't. That character, man, and her voice and it just being centered around a kid drove me crazy. Like, I was just like, here we go. It's another Grogu type story, but with this little blonde-haired girl who's probably better than all the males because she's a girl. So, Execute Order Shills. To be fair, Gina Carano's character was one-dimensional and boring. Yeah, I mean, she wasn't the greatest, and I don't even, again, her character, if that didn't even happen to Gina, the fan, where she's at now, like in the fan uproar, wouldn't have ever happened. She was okay. Like, she wasn't, I'm not, like, and I love Gina Carano, right? Like, and everything that happened to her and how she stood up and all that. That's, like, I have the utmost respect for that. But the issue, why I point out, like, her character and others is that it's the bias, right? They don't listen to fans. They don't listen to us when it comes to certain things. If it's something like that, the lefties, the weirdos, then they will kowtow and they'll bend the knee and do what they need to because, you know, it's all about diversity and inclusion and not, it's, when I say that, I think all of us, common sense, don't actually have a problem with real diversity and real inclusion. But we know what that means when those words are said. It's all a scam. It's that ESG score nonsense. It's that a political agenda nonsense that they push. And it's just so annoying. Bobby says, George Lucas' original plan was Lando was going to be a clone. I did not know that. That's interesting. Lando was a pimp. That's what he was. I saw that Ron Howard said Lucasfilm listens to fans. I did see that article too. It was Bounding into Comics that said that. Ron Howard's completely out of his mind. That guy's nuts. Yeah, maybe they listened to fans when Solo bombed and they got rid of him and said, no, you're never coming back to do a Star Wars movie. Maybe that's the only time that they listen to a fans at that point, but Soul Assassin, clap for diversity. Need to get that Star Wars convention clip. Yeah, and remember, Disney got dinged on their little ESG, their little report card there and said that they're not gay enough. So, you know, they got to up the ante even more. They're going to do everything they do to check all those boxes. I relate to Mace Windu, such an awesome character played by an awesome character. You bring up a good point, and I want to bring this up because I don't know if any of you voted in this, but if you haven't seen on my channel and on the community tab, I've been posting just kind of random polls to see what you guys think about certain things. And I had a really interesting poll with Mace Windu versus, hang on, if it ever pulls up. God, I need a new computer. That's my first goal. So I'm getting a new computer so I don't have to have these problems. Let's see. So yeah, if you haven't voted, go to my community tab real quick and you can vote now. But the votes were pretty cool. And I'm just trying to do random stuff. Star Wars, all kinds of different things. Marvel, like Wolverine versus whoever. But this one had, I think, the most votes. And so it's all right. I thought it was a little bit closer than this, but I'm still going to show it. Let's see. It was Count Dooku versus Mace Windu. And Surprisingly, well, not really that surprising, but Mace Windu took it home at 62% here. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So you got Mace Windu at 62%, Count Dooku at 38% with 82 votes. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think it's interesting seeing doing those kind of things. I think I had to Qui-Gon versus Vader. And God, look at that suit. Dear God, so terrible. But yeah, I like doing that stuff. So I always just be aware of those. I like to post those every now and then. And I'll do it from pretty much all the IPs. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I think Mace Windu would win. He's badass for sure. Now Mace Windu against Anakin though. Now I know Anakin got the jump on him, but I don't think in an equal fight, I think Mace Windu would have whooped his ass. I think Qui-Gon would have whooped his ass too though. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. But I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. But let's see here. Let me get to the chat. Soul Assassin says, to be fair, all Disney Star Wars shows are babysitters in space. That's, yeah. Is anyone else tired of the TV shows as well? I am sick of it. At this point, I kind of want everything to just slow down and stop because there's really nothing good coming out that I have any interest in whatsoever. There's like too much overload already, and I'm tired of the shows. The shows aren't that good. I don't know. Mirage says, this amount of cringe reminds me of when some black people told me Black Panther was the first black superhero. Yeah. Some of the takes with Black Panther were so bad. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just gonna walk away. I'm just gonna back up. Gina Carano character is still better than anything Kathleen Kennedy has done. I agree. Yeah, because that woman has no idea what she's doing. Diversity means no men and definitely no white men. Yep. Yeah, that's not diverse. White people, no, absolutely not. Mirage. Execute Order. Windu is top 10 favorite Star Wars characters for me, and his purple lightsaber just makes him more of a badass. And see, that's what I really like about that Tales of the Jedi, when how they went into Dooku's past. I thought that was really cool and a great use of using the animation. They should do more stuff like that. I would love wouldn't you love a whole season of Tales of the Jedi? Like, let's see Mace Windu's backstory. That would be awesome. I'd love that. Let's see Dooku's like a whole season of his backstory. The turning, like they shortened it, but they should have done like a 10 episode thing instead of ramming more Ahsoka down our throat. That would be awesome. They can touch on the whole Jedi Council. They can do a season of each of them, or just little mini episodes of each of them. Why not? But no. Yeah. Why would they? Scott says, I like those random. Oh, I'm glad you do. Yeah, I try to keep it, switch it up. Just do different things, off the wall things, kind of in case I can't put a video out that day. At least I'm putting something out for you guys to think about and discuss, whatever, and just make conversation about. So, Soul Assassin says, Mace Windu EU is one of the best duelists in the galaxy. Very few could have beat him in a saber fight. That's why I said I think he would beat Vader no problem in a straight fight to fight. I think he would hands down win. I think Count Dooku would have been a good match for Mace, but I think Mace would have beat him in the end. Yeah, I agree. Dooku would have gave him a good run for his money, but yeah, Anakin had a cheap shot. Absolutely. Yeah, Mace was busy. He was dealing with he was taking out the Emperor, and then he guerrilla warfare hit him from the side, so cut his little hands off. But I need Mace Windu back in exactly. Yeah. I like Dooku's story. Yeah, that was my favorite part of the Tales of the Jedi. I hated the Ahsoka stuff. Could not stand it. It was so annoying. Black Panther was good, but very overrated. I agree. It was better than I thought because I didn't see it at first, and not for any specific reasons. I just didn't really have a desire to see it. I didn't know much about it. But when I did see it, it was good. It was really good, but it's not as good as a lot of people say. But I did enjoy it, and it's way better than some of the other Marvel movies that have come out by far. Because, dear God, there are some really bad ones. Wasn't each episode like 10 minutes though? Yeah, the episodes were extremely short. Like I think total they were like maybe 15 minutes, but you got to think of like the intro and then the credits. So they came out to anywhere from like 10 to 12 minutes of actual animation and storytelling, which sucked because it was actually really good. And I wanted more of that. But, and again, they took away from the Dooku story because they focused on Ahsoka. So like it was cool. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but if you haven't seen it, I do recommend at least watching the Dooku stuff. And I don't want to spoil it, but they did some really behind the scenes stuff with Dooku that I did like in between, say, episodes 1 and 2, you know, stuff that they tell you what's going on or what just happened in the timeline, and you see where Dooku's at and where his mindset is and what he's doing. And it's really interesting. Like, I like that. It does a great job filling the gap. And I don't believe it broke canon that I'm aware of. Again, I know some people are like, you know, really like know that stuff by heart. I'm not one of those to say like, but I know I know a lot, but not as much as others. So I'm not sure if it broke canon. I don't think it did. Mirage says, in Attack of the Clones, Dooku was surely stalling when Mace confronted him in Geonosis. Man was about to get bested by Mace Windu. Yeah. Mace Windu flew out the window. Execute order shills. I'm glad you didn't bend the knee to the Andor mob. No, I don't bend knees. Like I said, I gave Andor credit where credit was due. There were some good things that it was able to do, but it was not as good as people were saying. It just wasn't. There was a couple episodes that were really good, but it was slow. It was overly drawn out. Major mistakes. Again, how are you going to put an AK-47 in the show? Like, that draws you out of the show. Something that small is that important in a Star Wars show. You have to watch these shows, and you have to have the illusion that you are not in anything of reality, right? You are literally in a galaxy far, far away, not in a galaxy that is over in Afghanistan with a Kalashnikov. Like, that's not how this works. So any little mistake like that takes you out of it. And even though they could say it's minor all they want, the music wasn't there. The music felt like Blade Runner. There was a lot of wasted time. And again, the show literally had nothing to do with Andor. If you really think about it, the show should have been called like The Rise of the Rebellion or something, as many other people have pointed out. It had nothing to do with Andor. I don't know why it's centered around him. He wasn't even a pivotal point. He was a crybaby. I don't know. Bobby says, I like a longer episode of that one episode duel from Star Wars Visions. Yeah, there are a couple of the Visions episodes were really good too. And I believe they're coming out with season 2 of that. It's just, what sucks is they're hit or miss. So out of 10 episodes, you have like 5 good ones and then 5 that are just absolute garbage. So we'll see. Like that punk rock one for Jabba's Palace I shut it off. I didn't even finish it. I was like, I am not finished. This is absolutely garbage. I couldn't do it. But, and then Soul Assassin says, I remember people calling that AK out in the trailer. Yeah. And the shill saying Star Wars always had Earth guns in the films. They didn't, but were modified to be different. Yeah. So like Han Solo's pistol. It was like a German Luger, I believe. I don't know the exact name of it. It was like a World War II/World War I pistol. But it was modified enough to where you can see that it was different. It just had the handle and some of the other specifics on there where it was like clearly that, but they modified it enough to where it was out of the realm of possibility. It was something different. They didn't do anything with this AK-47. It was legit a collapsible stock AK-47. Like, there's no deviation, nothing. They didn't even attempt to put like a different barrel on it or a different stock on it or nothing. It was even magazine fed. So same banana clips, everything. Like, what are you doing? These people don't know what they're talking about. But a lot of these people just defend it because, hey, well, they can't. For some reason, I don't understand. Like, I love a lot of IPs. I love, most of you know, I love Ghostbusters. I am not going to defend this stuff like it's my child or something. Like, if something sucks, it sucks. And if you don't like it, fine. But these people, like, if you talk about an IP that they love, it's like their brain melts down. And it's like you're talking about their mother or something. I don't get it. It's very strange, but that's, I don't know. My favorite episode of Star Wars Vision is the one on that island with the droids taking away the island's resources. I don't even remember that one. Are you talking about where the two Jedis confront the old like Sith? Because that was a really good one. I don't remember that one. I have to go through it again. He had a really cool yellow saber katana. I like the second one too that was like black and white. That was really cool. That was a good one too. Soul Assassin, yeah, World War II historians hate Star Wars fans for buying a lot of the World War II weapons to make solos. I know. Yeah, it's crazy. But, you know, it is what it is. All right, so I want to show you some content that one thing that I'm actually looking forward to, and then one thing that I'm pretty skeptical about. So if you don't know this by now, I am somewhat of a horror movie fan. And I saw this come out, and I don't know what to think about it. So if you guys are not familiar, Evil Dead Rises, the trailer came out. I love the Evil Dead series. It's definitely different. And the originals are kind of Sam Raimi, right? Goofy, off the wall, graphic. Well, the remake Evil Dead, I think, came out in like 2012-ish. Was terrible. I hated it. It was so bad. And this trailer just came out not too long ago. It's called Evil Dead Rise, and it has nothing to do with the original characters. I don't even think Sam Raimi is involved in it, and it's a completely different take. Oh, it was 2013 was the remake, so I apologize. But this has nothing to do with the original character. I'm trying to think of his name. My mind just went blank. It's pretty annoying. But this is a completely different take on it, and it's modern day. And Evil Dead was like always in a cabin where they come across evil, and there's possessions and whatnot. This is like modern day in a... Well, here, I'll read this real quick. Kind of the synopsis. Let me see here. Okay, so previous Evil Dead films with their teens in the woods set up have delivered varying versions of friendship groups and romantic relationships. But in Evil Dead Rise, we get a naughty familia tangle. It's about two sisters, Lily Sullivan's Beth and Alyssa Sutherland's Ellie. What the trailer has now revealed is that one of those sisters, Ellie, is possessed, and the other one is going to have to fight against that. Further complicating things, Ellie has 3 children who are forced to contend with their mother's demonic demise. They're all quite sparkling personalities, Cronin teases of the kids. There's been recent changes in the family's circumstances, so it's actually about them both individually struggling with those changes and a dad not being around, but also collectively as well. The trailer for this is extremely graphic. Like, it's gory. If this wasn't Evil Dead, I would actually be excited about it. But the fact that it is Evil Dead and you're missing the main characters, what was his name? Please, someone in the chat tell Ash. Thank you, Cajun. I appreciate it. Yeah, Ash isn't here. Ash is what makes Evil Dead, right? The chainsaw, the shotgun, like that's what Evil Dead is about. And the fact that it's not anyone of like it's just its own thing, I don't know how I feel about it. Bruce Campbell, yes. Soul Assassin says here, Bruce Campbell is a producer, so it might have some potential. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better that at least Bruce Campbell is involved because he makes these movies. The Army of Darkness is a classic. The Evil Dead movies are amazing. I didn't get to see all of the show, but the Evil Dead show that was on, or it was like, what was it? Evil versus Ash or something like that. I think it was on Netflix. I watched a handful of episodes and I really enjoyed it. Not really sure why I forgot or didn't finish, but it was really good. I need to go back and finish it. And this kind of, I don't know. It looks good though. If you haven't seen the trailer, I recommend it. It looks off the wall, like very intense, very graphic, gory. It looks a couple things like kind of chilling when you see it with the cheese grater. You'll know what I'm talking about. it kind of like, ooh, like I would not want to feel that or experience that. But I don't know. I was a little drawn, like just confused by it, or what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Just kind of like indifferent, I guess, because I want to like it, but I'm like, Ash isn't involved. It's not the same characters. It's kind of like a reboot kind of thing. And modern day stuff is all garbage. So, let me get to some of these that I skipped. So I apologize. David says yes for the second episode. Oh, that's right. It was the Java concert. No, disregard that. I wasn't talking about that one. Second episode is Jason. Oh God, didn't know that either. I like it. I like that they went to using practical effects. Practical effects are key. I love practical effects. If you guys watch anything that I put out, any of my videos, I am a huge fan of it. Nothing beats practical effects. CGI stuff is garbage. It's good to mix them and have a good mix, but for the most part, you can't beat practical effects. So I am excited if that's what they're using. So Mirage says, bro, the most disturbing horror movie for me is Sinister. This trailer had me disturbed and made me turn my light on. Sinister was pretty crazy. This trailer, though, is wild. This is a wild Ash trailer if you've not seen it. So Mirage says, I've always wanted Ash to be in Mortal Kombat, but unfortunately some things aren't meant to be. That would be cool. It's probably some type of rights issue, I would imagine. Did anyone play the Evil Dead game? I always heard it was really good, but did not see it. I did not get to play it. Last thing I saw Bruce Campbell in was Black Friday. Oh, yeah, he was in that, wasn't he? Soul Assassin says, I think the Ash versus Evil Dead show is still in. I need to finish it. I think, if I remember, it's like 2 or 3 seasons. So, and I don't know if they ever like wrapped it up or if it just ended and they never got to finish it. I don't remember, but I do need to finish it because I love the Evil Dead series. I have them all. Army of Darkness is great. And I saw this and it looks, like I said, it's crazy. It's wild. It will scare you. Like I have a feeling like not a lot of movies make you jump. This will make you jump, and it's very graphic. So I was intrigued by it, but I'm like, it's Ash isn't there. I don't know how I feel about that. I might end up getting freaking duped because you know how modern remakes and all that stuff are. Corey says, I watched Tugs play it once with X-Ray and Jay Hailstorm. Oh yeah, that's right. They were playing that. Yeah, I never got to see it though. I heard about their stream. Mirage says, last thing I saw Bruce Campbell in was, oh yeah, he was in Doctor Strange too. That's right. Yeah, because Sam Raimi was in it. Yep. All right, so the last topic, and this is good news because I don't know about you. I want you guys to tell me. I saw this trailer today, and I was excited about it because it's different. And I think it's going to be really good. And it's somewhat in the horror genre, but not really. But did you guys see this? This is the, let me skip this ad here. Good grief. The Renfield trailer with Nicolas Cage goes full blood sucker in a new take on Dracula. Nicolas Cage looks wild in this as Dracula. At first when I heard about this and I saw some of the pictures and whatnot, I was a little like, a little taken back by it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to turn out well or not, but is this messing up? Here we go. But the trailer looked really good. So if you're not aware of this, it basically is a new take on Renfield, like a modern day, and he's doing basically Dracula's bidding. I definitely recommend you checking out the trailer, but it looks like a fun ride. Nicolas Cage looks awesome as Dracula. The director involved, let's see. Ben Schwartz plays Renfield, and it's being directed by Chris McKay, who was in charge of the Lego Batman movie and its sequel, which I actually really like those movies. Let's see. The script was based on the idea from the Walking Dead comic book co-creator Robert Kirkman and authored by Rick and Morty writer Ryan Ridley. And whatever you think about with The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman is an amazing writer. Invincible, he was responsible for that. Some of the Walking Dead books, like the actual books, I've read a couple of them. His writing is just really, really good. So I think this is going to be a fun movie. It's going to be more, comedic, but horror kind of in a sense. But it says Renfield begins as a devoted servant who gradually becomes delusioned with carrying out Dracula's malevolent deeds. When a traffic cop played by, I'm not even attempting to say that name, catches his eye, love fuels Renfield to reevaluate his outlook on life and his willingness to continue helping Dracula. So it says here in Stroker's writing, Renfield is portrayed as a delusional inmate at the insane asylum who eats living creatures because he believes their blood will make him immortal. Stroker ultimately reveals, however, that these outlandish acts are a result of being brainwashed by Dracula. So if you know anything about Dracula, you know who Renfield is. It's an iconic character. There's been many, many different takes of Renfield and Dracula, and usually when they deviate that much, I'm not a big fan of it. It's like, but this does look really cool. And I think Nicolas Cage knocked the look at least out of the park, like his fangs and stuff. It looks really good. So let me see what some of you guys are saying here. Soul Assassin says, Evil Dead Ash is the best Halloween costume for those who don't want to. Yeah, it's so cheap and it's so cool. And pretty much everybody that knows that, loves horror movies is going to probably know who that is. So yeah, that's a great idea. I remember Bruce Campbell was in season 2 of Fargo playing. Oh, interesting. I never watched the show. The movie Fargo was really good, but I never got into the show. Scott Davis says, I watched this right before your stream, Renfield. Yeah, I did too. I was very surprised at how much I liked it. I saw the original trailer for it and like the thumbnail, and I was like, this looks pretty bad. But I thought it looked pretty good. So Soul Assassin says, Midnight Edge was recently talking about Renfield trailer. Movie looks like a fun watch. Yeah, it just looks like just something fun and enjoyable to go and just, again, the escapism we're kind of looking for. And it's Dracula based. It's got some horror involved, but there's humor involved. So I'm excited for it. I think it's going to turn out pretty good. This is one thing I'm actually looking forward to. Cajun says, is Nick going to lose his shit? Well, probably. I wouldn't put it past him. Let's see. Cage looks like the younger version of the vampire from Nosferatu movie. They're also making a remake of that too. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. They actually even mentioned something about Nosferatu in the article here. Oh, let me see. Yeah, what makes it super fun is that it's a comedy, Cage told Variety in a December 2021 interview. And when you get that tone right, comedy and horror like American Werewolf in London, it's a blast. And I agree. American Werewolf in London is one of my favorite is probably my favorite werewolf movie of all time. And he nails it. That's in a best description. Holt is also slated to appear in Robert Eager's Nosferatu, a reboot of the 1929 film, which was unofficially adapted from Stroker's 1897 novel. Renfield will premiere in theaters on April 14th. Okay, so not that far away. Well, at least that's something to look forward to fairly soon. Yeah, like Scott says, I think it's going to be a fun watch. Bobby says, I want another Willy's Wonderland like movie from Nick Cage. I've still to see Willy's Wonderland. I've heard great things, just haven't seen it yet. So that's on my list of freaking movies that I need to get to. I recommend watching the Fargo show. It's pretty good, especially season 2. Again, that's another show I heard really good things about. Just never got into it. The movie though is fantastic. So what is that streaming on in Fargo? I think is it Amazon, maybe? Not sure. David says, playing Shadow of Mordor right now, knowing nothing about Lord of the Rings. Man, you don't even have to know anything about Lord of the Rings. I don't think that's considered canon anyway, but that game is awesome. The fighting, just the combat and the like beheadings and stuff in that game are wild. Like the combinations and stuff. I love that game. So I'm glad you're having fun with it. Yeah, I don't think you really need to know much about Lord of the Rings to be able to enjoy the game. So, but yeah, let's see. Oh, that's right. Corey says, yeah, it's Hulu. It's an FX show. Hulu has them. That's right. It was originally slated from FX because I remember seeing the commercials a long, long time ago when that show first came out. But yeah, man, a lot of crazy stuff going on. It's first of the year. I mean, we're only, 6 days in, and all this stuff's getting released and rumors going on. And I know they're talking about a potential spinoff of the Mandalorian show, is something that I heard. So are you guys looking forward to anything in particular this year? Big time, like I said, Marvel-wise, I've talked about Guardians of the Galaxy I'm looking forward to. But, other than that, I'm not really looking forward to anything. I was kind of I don't know if I'm really looking forward to The Flash. I just want to see if it bombs or not, or if it's as good as people say. Just because I'm so sick of DC, I don't know if I really want to go and even watch it, but I don't know. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of reviews that I need to work on too, and just interesting how all this stuff plays out. There's a couple other movies I think that are coming out that I haven't seen trailers for yet, but I heard of. I don't know if it's this year they're coming out or next year, but I got to look into it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So just to give you guys a heads up, like I said, I'm still going to be doing some news videos as always. I'll keep up with that. I got a couple reviews coming out soon. I've been talking about this forever. I'm finally going to get my Orville season 1 review done. That show is fantastic. I can't wait to dive into Orville season 2. Going to be doing some other probably older movie reviews too. I still need to do RRR. I've heard so many good things about that, and I have been I've had my other YouTuber friends like Pops and some others tell me like I'm crazy that I haven't watched that movie yet. So definitely on the list to get done. Probably get out my Pinocchio review. If you guys haven't seen Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, highly recommended. I think it's one of the best movies of the year. Oh God, Mirage. Yeah, Avatar 8 and 9 is confirmed too. James Cameron is a lunatic. Absolutely no desire to see anything with Avatar. Yeah, I think he said the next movies are like the meat and potato. Like he's like, this was just the appetizer, Avatar 1 and 2. The guy's completely lost his mind. I think too many deep dives going into the Titanic has messed up his brain because the guy's lost his mind. Scott says it's more Star Trek than current Star Trek. I 100% agree. Like the Orville has been so good. I've enjoyed every bit of it. Like I said, I'm just going to do a quick review of season 1, break down some of my favorite episodes, and I'm really looking forward to digging into season 2. I've been holding off watching season 2 only because I still wanted to get my season 1 review out. And like I said, I'm doing my best, if you can't tell, to up the quality on some things, especially my reviews, some other stuff. And that takes a little bit longer time than just me rambling and ranting. So, but I am working on that stuff. Just got to get it out and cover some other things too. And remember, guys, I am open to any suggestions. So in a video, if you want a video to review, throw it out there. It's something I want to touch on. I'm going to start reviewing some older movies too. Maybe some of the original Star Wars movies, maybe have some debates with some other YouTubers. I'm thinking of inviting some people on the podcast so we can talk about stuff. So going to be doing a lot of different things this year. I want to try some new stuff and just, see what works and what doesn't. Soul Assassin says Cameron should have spent the last decade since the first Avatar film building the lore with books, games, and shows. Yep, that's how you cement a legacy there, by having more lore, not just one movie that pretty much everybody forgotten. And again, I mean, I get it, right? I can't talk too much trash about it because it is breaking a record right now. But most of that, if I understand correctly, most of that's coming from overseas. And there's really not much competition. You don't really have that many strong movies out that are really giving it a run for its money to compete against. So it's essentially out there by itself. So it doesn't really surprise me that it's broken these records and done it. But is an Avatar game coming? I've heard something of a game. I don't know though. Yeah, Mirage says right here, an Avatar game being a prequel to Avatar 2009 would have been awesome. Yeah, I know there's slated to have some type of game for Avatar. I'm not 100% sure. I know the Hogwarts game looks really cool. It's coming out. I know a lot of you all are looking forward to that. That game's going to be nuts. And also a mobile game. I'm sure they're going to start coming out with games and stuff now because I feel like they've sat on Avatar for too long and realized if it's making this much money, they're going to milk it as much as they can. But let's see. Yes, it's called Avatar Frontiers of Pandora that was delayed from 2022 and is made by Ubisoft. Yeah, and David, I know I've seen your tweets and stuff about Hogwarts Legacy. You will have no life when that movie comes out. And Soul Assassin says, yes, if you buy Hogwarts, you are a racist. So don't forget, everyone, to purchase Hogwarts and go play it. I wish I got it on PC because I know the community right now is making. Oh, I can only imagine the mods that they're going to come out with. Call of Avatar Pandora Warfare. That would be a sick game, wouldn't that? Though, if it was like a Call of Duty style Avatar versus, or like the Pandora or the Navis versus the bad white people, that would be hilarious. Yeah, oh Lord, Ubisoft. But all right, folks. Well, I'm gonna probably give it a call it about an hour and 30 over. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out. Like I said, I'll have more videos coming out, more reviews coming out. I do have, just so you know, active memberships if you guys want to join. We do membership streams on Sunday mornings, usually Sunday afternoon, like 11, 12 in the afternoon. And we talk about just kind of other we still talk about some news topics and stuff, but we talk about older movies, or I just kind of leave it up to you guys, what we want to talk about and discuss, and we do. So it's always fun time. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to all my channel members, David for being here, Cajun, my friend, thank you for being here, Soul Assassin, Philip Hawkins, Scott. Appreciate you all for being here and hanging out with me. Like I said, I'll be back next week, same time, 8 p.m. is I'm go a little bit earlier than I normally do, so everyone can make it. And yeah, you guys have a good rest of the week. David, have a good night. Get some sleep. Yeah, me too. Gonna go get some sleep for work. And Mirage, my friend, as well. Thank you again. Appreciate you all for coming out, and I will catch you all next week. So stay safe, have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you guys later.